What up, guys? It's DJ. Another Star Wars Galaxy Heroes video, and this one's again theory crafting with DV. Apparently, I cannot
Hello,
speak
hello.
tonight. So this one, we want to talk about ships a little bit. Now, personally, I love ships. I wish CG would come out with some more, but it's that's a whole nother subject for a whole nother day.
Personally, I mostly dislike ships. They're kind of growing on me. But I also agree they need more. All of my
Yes.
dislikes in ships comes from lack of variety.
That's pretty much what I hear a lot from the different community is that there needs to be more ships. And I was actually having a conversation with the guys in my ship shard payout time, and Toombs had brought up the idea of here. You know what? I'm actually going to go to that and read what we were talking about here. He said, "Oh, this was Tom. I'm sorry. Tom said." Maybe for your next ship video on YouTube, you can discuss the importance of ship speed. Also, I'd
Oh,
really like to
yes.
have a mention about how badass Poe is because he's very rarely
Yes.
used. I use him as a
I
second Vader on reinforcement that allows me to use two tanks in my starting lineup.
I run Poe in my reinforcements. He's my number four, and I take number two and number one every other day. So I think that he is invaluable. If you're not running Poe as your fourth, I don't know what you're doing to take down TIE fighter pilot effectively.
Now, see,
'Cause-
I don't run Poe. I don't. And that's kind of a weird
So
thing for me because
throw your lineup on the screen. Let's see what you got up there.
well, I don't have my lineup on screen because the
Oh, I think I
iPad
can actually
died,
see
so
it.
we're kind of freestyling
Oh,
this one.
okay, I gotcha.
But what we're gonna do is
What
I
is your
can tell
lineup?
you my lineup right off the top of my head. I use
Yeah,
the TIE Advance. I
yes,
use the TIE Reaper, obviously.
of course.
I
Yep.
use Biggs' ship as my main tank,
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
and then both other ties, the Imperial tie and the First Order regular tie, not the First
That's what I'm
Order
running.
whatever the heck that thing is called.
And that is the only meta. Go check out the top 50 on your shard, and you will see that that is just about the only meta that's being played.
Pretty much. The only other one I've seen, which I thought was kind of a strange setup, and I'm actually going to go to mine so I make sure I quote this correctly, but some of the guys on here run a really weird setup, and it's hold on, let me pull this up
Does it
because
involve Phoenix ships?
no, it involves
Oh.
um, where are you guys?
The only other variant I have seen is sometimes instead of TIE Advanced is the TIE Silencer.
There's a tie silencer. Okay, so here's the five that they run. The starting five. It is Biggs, the tie Reaper, the tie silencer, Gar Saxon ship, the Gauntlet Starfighter,
Huh.
and
What?
what's that? Sunfac. I think that's Sunfac. Sunfac.
Son- You're kidding me.
No, and
I
that's
don't. I
not
have
just
not seen that on
one.
my shard.
There's multiple guys on here running that
So what's going
same
on here?
one, and it makes me wonder if that's some sort of a new meta. So if you have, I personally don't have those ships geared up that high where I can use them. My Sunfac is way down. I got to scroll to find him. And the same thing with my Gauntlet Starfighter because I haven't. I just started working on Gar Saxon. We're actually going to come out with a video soon about that specific reason because DV and I think we have discovered something that we want you guys to play with when it comes to the Sith raid. But
Yeah.
that'll be the next video that comes
Stay
out.
tuned.
In the meantime, though, Sunfac, Gar Saxon, TIE Silencer, obviously the Reaper,
All
and
right.
then Biggs. That's a decent lineup. That's a double taunting lineup, much of what you
Sure.
see in regular arena right now.
More impressively than double taunting is the double stun. TIE fighter pilot, if you're not aware of this, his percent chance to dodge increases on basic attacks. Special damage actually it's reduced but not as much. So if you have to hit it, if it's the only target you have because of scimitar doing smokescreen or whatever it's called, cloaking everybody,
Yeah, where it cloaks everybody.
yeah, use your specials on him. Even if he's not target locked with the first order TIE pilot, still do that. It has a higher chance of hitting, and it's not going to miss. Now, once he is stunned off of the special from Sunfac or from Kylo Ren's silencer, he can't dodge anymore, and then the basics can take him down. And of course, one of the main ways to play Arena is to have your TIE fighter be unhidden and dodging as many attacks as possible to feed that extra turn to your capital ship early.
Yep. And what people don't realize is, I mean, the KRU ship just very recently came out, so it was a race to get it to 7 stars in my arena because I've got a lot of high-powered guys in my arena. But it says deal physical damage to target enemy and stun them from 1 turn. If they have more than 50% turn meter, there's your key. If you aim at someone with more than 50% of their turn meter already listed, they are going to get stunned. You are going to stop that person from attacking and cause a lot of confusion on the AI's part. So because the AI specifically will go after the person with the largest turn meter on your team. If you just stunned their largest turn meter person, you kind of throw the AI into a tailspin, and that's where you start to pick up a little RNG in your favor. So I can see why this ship would become some sort of a meta, really.
We're talking about Silencer?
Yeah.
And then the stacking offense, that's the big one. That is the sole reason outside of the stun. I mean, like, it is a good ship. The stun on TIE Fighter Pilot, so powerful. And then the stacking offense just makes him a powerhouse. Mm-hmm. Mine is almost 7 stars, but the word is out on crew. He is a gear hog. Be prepared. I thought Boba was bad.
Is he? I haven't looked at Boba or crew. I have him at gear 8 right now, but he needs a stun cuff and a stun gun.
Gear level 9 requires all 6 very hard to get raid pieces.
Does he? I think I have mine at gear 9. Hold on, let me pull that up while we're talking about it.
Where you have, well, yeah, with your roster now. In the early days, he was really bad. I think at this point where you're getting loot, it's not nearly as...
getting a little easier. I noticed that. I mean,
now then,
they are trying to help us. Here, hold on. Here, Boba's up. You got the white drain plug or the Nubian design tech. You got a stun gun. You got a Mark 6 eyeball. You got a hollow projector. You got a furnace, and you got a syringe.
None of the items on, I don't know if it's 8 or 9 or 10, but on one of the gear levels, none of the items can. All of the items have at least one item that can't be farmed.
Wow.
And
it's got probably 10.
And then back like a year ago, when he had just had his rework, the stores hadn't been reworked, so those pit locked gear was still really hard to get and very RNG dependent. And so he took a long time to get put in. But with the way the shops are set up now, it's not that bad anymore.
No, you know what? I like that. And the one thing that I got from the question and answer thing they did the other day is that they're not going to change the Cantina store, the Squad Arena store, and the Galactic store because those stores are used to feed the Shard Shop for gear, which the Shard Shop has been really crucial in helping me to get a lot of gear where it needs to be.
I think the RGPs both have just skyrocketed with the ease of access of buying the shards that we need now. It's critical
because it was miserable before. I mean, a stun gun would take you a month to get, and now I can get one to two in a week, depending on RNG, but 1 to 2 in a week. And then you throw in the 3 raids are. I mean, as much as we are starting to get burned out on it, the 3 raids are throwing in a lot for the gear of getting the guild store. That gear right there has been pretty accessible with some of the Gear 12 pieces, as far as like getting the Mark 10 and some of the other stuff. So that's been really helpful as well.
Yes, yeah, definitely.
So
I do like that rework. I am frustrated that they're not doing the change up the consolidate gear for higher gear, and they have no plans for taking out challenge gear from raids. That's ridiculous, but I guess that's a different conversation.
That's a whole. Watch our previous episode, and you will hear us complain about all of it.
On ships, though, I think one of the things that we talked about the 5 main characters out of the meta right now, the 5 main ships: the Darth Vader, TIE Fighter Pilot, First Order TIE Pilot, Reaper, and Biggs. What do you run in reinforcements?
Personally, I kind of bounce around a little bit. I just got JC's ship. Not JC ship, but JC to gear 11, and I use him as one of them, as one of the bring-ins. And the reason why is because of his assist that he gives, half the time they will have tried to take out my TIE Reaper, so I use his health up or his protection up, I believe, to kind of help the TIE Reaper a little bit. And then, I mean, the assist is just gold, especially if you still have Vader in the battle. You can go right after that TIE fighter with the assist from Vader, and it's basically Vader getting in another shot. So I use that one. I bring in 5s as my backup. 5s will deal some major damage if you have enough turn lock spread or target lock spread around throughout the battle.
I find his Dispel on basic with against the target locked enemy to be his most powerful. That, and he's a meat shield. He can take a beating. I love the fact that he can get hit, like he can survive a full round of being beat down.
Oh yeah, I mean he gets punched in the face a few times and he's good to go.
Just like.
And then I bounce back and forth on whether or not to bring in, and I know it sounds kind of weird because everybody talks crap about him, but the Sabine Phoenix ship, the little one, I believe it's not the Ghost, it's
Phantom?
the Phantom. I bring in that one because it's an automatic target lock on any ship. It has an automatic. You push the middle.
That is powerful.
Yeah, and it's an automatic guarantee, almost guaranteed. I can't say guaranteed. It's almost
now
guaranteed.
Now then, Biston's ship
lock.
does that as well. And when he has stealth, as soon as they finally fix that bug, he is not supposed to be. It's not available.
Yeah, exactly.
But
I don't have. I have Biston at 6-star though. I never got him to 7 for the Thrawn battle. I just went the top 5 with Cassian being the 5th one, and I used that one. And then my last one is Crew. You can't beat him. I mean, he's only gear 8 for me, but that ship is still at a gear 8 tune. That ship still destroys easily without question.
He's one of my projects to work on. So now I'm running Scimitar for reinforcement, and then Boba, and then 5s, and I'll be swapping 5s out for Silencer. And then I run Poe as my 4th. Poe is my clutch secret weapon. He is by far my favorite reinforcement. He gets called in more than any other ship for reinforcement that I have right now.
Really?
Yes, except I would never have the AI play him, and I would never put him anywhere other than 4th. Having him come in and blow up TIE Fighter. You have Darth Vader hit the enemy TIE Fighter pilot once, and you ignore him, and then as soon as the ship dies, you bring in Poe immediately, and you blow up their TIE Fighter pilot, and then the capital ship doesn't get turn meter. Bring in Scimitar, hide your... sometimes I'll do Scimitar before Poe. But Poe comes in to kill TIE Fighter pilot and win the game every time. Gosh, he's such a great little guy.
I like the fact that you still use the Scimitar, because personally I cannot stand that chip. I refuse to use it. I actually put in Clone Sergeant because when we were doing the HAAT or the tank raid, I would use the clones. I could actually solo phase 4 with my clones because I had them all at gear 12. And so because I had him at gear 12, I bring in Clone Sergeant as one of my backups. And once Vader puts target lock, or anyone puts target lock on that little TIE ship, you bring in Clone Sergeant and his specialized missile just destroys that ship. It's an automatic hit. It's guaranteed a 50k hit, which blows the ship apart with one hit. So
yeah, I like Scimitar because I throw the stealth targeting TIE Fighter pilot. He only needs to miss. He only has to dodge 3 times to get a full free turn. And so I'll shake the dice on that. I get 1 free turn ahead of my enemy capital ship, and you're good to go. I'm running a maxed Thrawn so that I can have every edge possible on getting off the ultimate before my enemy.
Right.
And let's segue real quick into that other thing that you mentioned. Speed. How is speed determined? So speed in ships is determined the same way that speed is determined. Now the speed is set. Every little incremental increase you have to your character affects their ship. And every time you increase one little thing, it increases a little bit on that. So the Zetas if you add a character with 2 Zetas, you end up getting a +2 speed from it, a +1 speed from it. And I think the characters that only have 1 Zeta, it doesn't actually impact the speed. I'm not positive. It might give 1 for
I think
each,
it gives 1 for each Zeta.
For each Zeta?
Yeah.
Now when 2 characters get to turn meter 100% at the same time, even with ships, it's still a coin flip. So that +1 speed guarantees in a mirror match that your ship will go before your enemy ship will that same color. Now that's important for Darth Vader's ship, for instance,
Right.
because if you target lock them early, then you're going to pop on the taunt for Biggs.
Ah. Okay.
So and then if you have your Darth Vader target, say, TIE Fighter pilot right at the very beginning, and then you target your Biggs, then after the AI manages to kill off your Biggs, call in Poe and kill their TIE Fighter pilot, and it's easy mode.
Okay. Well, that makes perfect sense as far as how
That's kind of the strategy I follow.
But I just that's why I love this game, because one person can have one strategy that works absolutely perfect for them, and then another person comes in with the exact same ships and has a completely different strategy.
Exactly.
For me, like, all the guys in my arena always tell me, "Well, don't go after any other ship but the Reaper. Take out the Reaper first." I disagree. I disagree with that. No, I disagree.
Fighter, then your first priority is going to be the First Order TIE pilot.
Nope. Incorrect.
Right,
I go after Biggs. I get tired because every time somebody gets target locked, Biggs gains protection. For me, I want to get rid of the protection hog. It's almost the same thing as Zeta Kylo, where every time you were in an arena battle with somebody who had Zeta Kylo back then, when he was part of the Titans team, people would use him instead of General Kenobi if they didn't have him. And he would go in and he would use his special and would constantly gain protection. And for me, I didn't care about the rest of them. I wanted to get rid of the one person that every time I hit, he just came right back over and over and over with more health.
Well, no, I agree. But let's look at it this way. As soon as target lock lands on your team, their Biggs will get the taunt. So if you're going first and you manage to hit their TIE Reaper and manage to stick a status effect, again, the only way to do that is to increase your pilot's base character and the ship as much as you can. Every little increment will increase the potency, which will allow you to stick the debuffs. It is critical to have your pilots at G12 to make them work the way you want them to.
And each piece, we figured this out today because Hung and Dietz.
There's a calculator somewhere online.
Well, Hung and Dietz had specifically coordinated their gear planning, and so every piece of Gear 12 that you put on there gives your Imperial TIE Fighter 1 extra speed. So that's 3 pieces of speed right there. If you have your TIE Fighter, now the things that help your TIE Fighter to move or to get speed is the gear, which the more gear you put on them, if you can get them to Gear 12 and max out all 3 pieces, you should be at 193 speed, which is the fastest speed that ship has. Which is that's all the gear pieces on there, all your mods at level 5,
all the pretty horses,
all the way up, all your level to level 85, and your ship completely maxed out. That ship will max out at 193 speed, and from there, what's going to end up happening is good old RNG comes into play, and will pick one of your 2 ships to go first, and then really it's just all about RNG from there. You're either you got it or you don't.
Correct. You've got to stick the debuff to do that. So now then, the reason why you go after Reaper first, though, is that as soon as they get target lock on you, it's going to go to Biggs. So if you can hit target lock on their Reaper first, then their first attack's going to hit your Biggs, his ship has a pretty decent tenacity. I think it's one of the higher ones.
Exactly.
So, and then if he doesn't get target locked right away, you can get that your First Order TIE Fighter pilot should be able to strafe it right away, and then after you get target lock on the next time the enemy AI hits your ship, you have, assuming you don't have to call in a reinforcement, you can use Thrawn's AoE special and wipe out TIE Reaper, and then every time you kill one of their enemies, your TIE Reaper is reducing their capital ship, and I have gone battles where the capital ship has never gone with my TIE Reaper. You just massacre them after that. So the reason why you hit TIE Reaper first is that if you can get them low enough that the AoE will kill them, then it served its purpose. It doesn't matter if then you focus on Biggs. Then once Biggs is done, there's 35% turn meter off the enemy turn meter, the enemy capital ship.
That's where you and I disagree, because for me to start off the battle, and this is, like I said, this is why I love this game. For me, I start off the battle by One, I know that my Imperial TIE Fighter is not the fastest one out there. I'm not at 193. I'm not even close. And the guys in my arena shard are. So I know they're going to go first. So that's where RNG comes into play and which ship they're going to hit. I don't know why this AI does this almost every single time, but their AI will purposely not go after my TIE Reaper first. They go after my Imperial TIE Fighter first. 90% of the time, the ship misses, which automatically makes Thrawn go first. He's the first ship on my entire squad that goes first. And I actually put out the first special where he grants everybody a buff. Yeah, the heal.
Yep, that's a fantastic. Turns the tide of the battle almost instantly.
Yeah, and from there, now all of my attackers are offense up. And from that offense up status, I can pretty much go after any ship.
And their defense down as well.
Yeah, and it just wipes them out one after another, after another, after another, and they're dead.
Steamroll.
The only time I lose a battle is if the AI attacks my Reaper first. That's the only time I lose a battle. So, and today, it seemed like they were purposely aiming. It didn't matter where the heck I moved my TIE Reaper to. They purposely took it out every single time, and it was annoying.
Yeah, my Reaper and my TIE Fighter are the two most targeted off the initial attack.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they just go after the attacker. I think that's the AI is branded to go after an attacker is what I'm feeling, because it's almost like they go after the attackers of my ship every time. And I know Reaper is not an attacker, it's a support, but for whatever reason, they go after my TIEs first most of the time, and then if it's not the TIE, then it's the support, which is the Reaper. So I don't know if that's how they planned it or what their
I don't know if
is.
the AI might even have a priority. Like, it may know that the human player will target them because of the capital ship turn meter gain and control. So maybe the AI has it programmed as their higher priority because of it as well. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
I don't know.
Hey, maybe the next time CG decides to do a question and answer thing, we should ask that question.
Well, Easter's coming. Maybe Easter night, just like St. Patty's night, they'll get on and do a live Q&A with only 20 minutes notice.
What? Easter egg hunt with my children? Never that.
And that's
CG
also April
all
Fool's
day.
Day. That would be so perfect.
Oh, man. All right, folks.
So real quick, before we win, I want to do one more real quick. One more thing.
Go for it.
Max out your Thrawn. I have looked through the metas and played through the different metas. Since Thrawn has been released, he is the only character that has been in every meta. Even R2-D2's reign ended with Palpatine meta, and yet Thrawn still persists. Not only is he viable in Arena, not only is he one of the best leaders you can have Zated for territory battles, especially since when you have him, give him both Zetas right away. Immediately. The advantages you get for your capital ship and the damage output it does also goes exponentially up. So you want to exponentially is kind of a exaggeration, but you have no reason to not max out your Thrawn immediately. Right. He is such an important character. If you're ever thinking, what should I be doing with my Zeta, and you don't have one on Thrawn, put it on Thrawn. It doesn't matter which one; they are both amazing. Every game mode is improved by a strong Thrawn.
Just don't put it on R2. Please. Please don't put it on R2.
You know, I would actually say that R2 is the only other character you might want to debate putting it on.
I hate R2.
He's so versatile. He's like the Swiss Army knife. He's in everything.
Yeah, he's somebody I like to throw my Del Taco in.
That's right. I always got the feeling between C-3PO and R2-D2 there wasn't a whole lot of love of tacos. And with that, we'll call it a video.
All right, fellas. You guys got any questions? Any thoughts? Whatever. Like, subscribe, leave comments below. Go to the Discord server. We're on there. Talk with us. Have a good time. And happy hunting on your ship shard. And we'll see you guys around.
Have fun.